New league, same teams, some new drivers, but plenty of action still to come. Welcome to Revamped Fridays on International Paddock. We've got UCR. Yes, a brand new league here for International Paddock starting today, and it's their first race ever. Yes. Some names you'll recognise, some names you might not, but all names are going to provide some pretty damn good pace. Welcome to United Championship Racing. My name is Casper, happy to be with you all. I'm here with you for the next probably about 2.5 hours-ish, give or take. It's about the same time as the Simtech race. Took us like 2:40-ish. It's the same format, so it's full quali 100%. But there is some changes, some differences. I'll happily go into that a little bit later. But one of those is teams set, right? So the teams are set. So for instance, you're looking at F1 Russell, which I think is Jordan. He will be staying in that Aston Martin as far as this season goes, unless obviously some changes. But as far as I'm aware, there won't be too many as he comes into the stadium section here. We're racing in Mexico City in the Foro Sol in the stadium section, which you've just seen go through. And here's the first qualifying lap ever by Minden Beam of the Bracknell Man. I was going to say the Bracknell Bastard was a little too early for that one just yet. Maybe a little bit beyond the watershed. If you're from the UK, you know what I mean. Through the turn 6 hairpin, losing the back end. Very easy to do, riding the curbs like Mitch was doing. Into turn 7 through this S section. We'll turn off the telemetry. 7, 8, 9. And then through 10 and 11 as well. Peak at 12, third DRS zone on this circuit. There's 3 of them. You often forget about that third one. It's really short on the back end of the circuit into this hairpin. Slight overtaking opportunity. Not often you see one there, but it is theoretically possible through to the Peraltard. And what's Mitch's first lap time going to be? It's going to be a 1:16.525. Still reeling from the podium, I believe. Last night in Simtech, or at least a very good result regardless, did finish quite highly. Small Girl goes into second. We're looking on with Bish in 5th place, but he's going to be tumbling a little bit. He's full qualifying as well, so we're going to be seeing 2 drivers drop off at the end of this session. Bish, of course, raced in the Simtech race last night, which I got the very good pleasure of watching. If you want to rewatch that, it's right now live on Twitch. You can rewatch it as Bish goes into 3rd place. It's a round 2 race at Zandvoort. He's rewatchable on Twitch at this point in time, and it will be available on YouTube in due course if it isn't already. So be sure to check the YouTube channel further for that one. Sambo loves racing on a Friday. Raced on a Friday in FSC. Did well, I think is a very nice way of putting it, but not doing very well at all. 1:19.689. Must have either made a mistake or that exit out of the hairpin is exactly what he's been doing across the whole lap, which is not ideal even for an Alpine. Despite their, how do I say it, questionable pace. Alpines aren't particularly very good in this game as far as I'm aware. Here's Piastri. I think that's Jordan. So Piastri is Jordan, Norris is Jamie, and I think Rosberg is Kieran. As far as I know. George goes to 4th. Let's look at Dubois. He's coming through 1, 2, and 3. It's a very long run down into turn 1. Maxi goes fastest in this first qualifying session, 15.842. So pips Mitch by almost 7/10 of a second. So a lot of pace in that Aston Martin. Mike Wallace has lifted off, validated his lap, letting cars come past. And there's a Sauber in the background. That'll be Liam Hardman, as he comes to start his lap. Is Mike going to go again? Now, I wonder, is he going to be coming into the pit lane? Not quite an ideal exit. He's coming into the pits. Also raced as part of the international paddock team in FSC. Knocking down the bollards. You're not really allowed to do that. That's pretty funny, though. I'm not going to lie. Death coming out of the pits. Stelio is out of the pits as well in 16th place in the Williams. Yeah, Death is on an out lap as well. This is Baker Gaming and Jamie F1 Norris in 9th place at the moment in the McLaren. Ironically, Piastri and Norris are in the McLarens, but Russell's in the Aston Martin. Maybe prediction for in a few years' time. Maybe check back a little bit later on. But then we've got Rosberg in the Mercedes. So, who really knows? He goes 7th with an 18.2. Stelio was very much on the racing line there. As Liam Hardman does a qualifying lap on the set of hard tyres. Interesting decision. Ray goes fastest, 15.3. We've got 11 minutes 11 to go. Not fully sure why he's just opted for the hard tyre. I suppose in Q1 and Q2 it doesn't really matter as long as you go through. Liam Hardman does have a lot of pace. He goes 15.6, so that's pretty much cemented him into the next qualifying session. Remember, there's only 2 drivers that are going to be dropping out because we're going to see 15 in Q2. So at the moment it is going to be Stelio and Du Bois. But we've still got 10 minutes and 40 left to see times being set here in Mexico City, just underneath the United States of America is where this nation is positioned. And then, well, they say everything is bigger and better in Texas. Texas borders Mexico, so some of it definitely rubs off here. And considering the stadium section there is, well, it's pretty spectacular, I'll tell you that. Always a good watch in real-life racing. Stelio coming through the S's. Very difficult section to get right. He comes across the timing being now to 56.9. That's not half bad, all things considered. Flicks it into the stadium section. Turn 14. No, turn 13 even. That's 14. And then this is 15. Then exit of turn 16, cutting it back to the curb if he can, and across the line goes 16.2, puts himself into 4th place and most likely into Q2. Jamie goes fastest, 15.339. As there's 13 drivers that have set a time. One of them that hasn't is Death. Death goes into 3rd place, and not quite Death topping the charts, but not very far off. Baker Gaming also coming up to the line now with 9 minutes 20 to go, 1:17.3. Not a good time, but compared to some of the other times that have been set so far, it's not quite a bad time either. But we'll see, I imagine that getting even closer, because we've seen Baker racing. Baker can set in a decent time in qualifying, if he wants to, of course. But we shall see a little bit later. There's about 8 minutes of quali left to go. Oh, there's 8:54 if we're going to be specific. Let's go on board with Jordan as he goes for a lap. Let's put the telemetry on as well, just because we can. DRS on as well. Longest DRS section on this circuit, and there's 3 of them. So you've got some choices. Braking for turn 1, you're dropping down into 3rd gear, briefly into 4th there. But 3rd and then 2nd, then back up to 3rd. Need to get exit out of here as well, because you've got this long straight as well. A lot of overtaking opportunity into turn 4 as well, because it is a DRS zone and you're heavy braking for 4 and 5. Tighter corner than the prior. Into turn 6, double apex. Hairpin goes a little bit deep, misses that 2nd apex. But still manages to keep it on the grey stuff into the S section, the bottom end of the circuit. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then through the kink at 12. 3rd DRS zone as well. Braking a little bit for turn 13 now. Going into 4th gear. And braking for 14, 15, and then 16. Through that stadium section, exit of 17. Craig Mason's got a 5 place grid penalty for a collision with Du Bois. Piastri improves his time, goes to 10th place, but I don't think that's quite what he needed for a position. But nice to do it on board. Mike Wallace 1:21.3 is what he's set. Sambo 1.1 seconds down on his personal best. Must have made some sort of mistake. Remember, this man is on a controller, worth mentioning. Not that I'm saying he's going to be crap, but don't expect too much in terms of steady inputs. As you can see, anyway, you can see it's sort of bouncing up and down, left, and then straight, then left, then straight, then right, then straight. You can sort of see it sort of trying to move the stick pretty quickly. He's validated his time as well. Kind of go again, but he's 2 seconds down. Mike Wallace is pretty set on his time as well. After the first sector, the second sector triggers after the S's. There's still a little bit of way before he can go through that. We can see how his time compares. Oof. Nice save there by Mike. That's not a nice save by Mike. The first one was very good. The second one wasn't even a save at all. So that's his lap effectively done and dusted. And he is on the drop zone at the moment. Sam on the bubble, with the boy not having set a lap time at this point in the session. Well, there's 6 minutes left in qualifying. Maxi 3/10 up after 2 sectors, coming through the Foro into the Peraltada. We'll see what sort of time Maxi can come up with. 6th place at this point in time. Where do they go? Goes to the top. 15.3. Whoa! This is one hell of a final sector. Picked up, I think, about a quarter of a second. It's not very long final sector in comparison to the rest of the circuit. So, you know, good stuff by Maxi there here on UCR's debut. Well, this is everybody's UCR's debut. But, of course, this game hasn't been out for long, so we're still sort of seeing who's adapted the best to the game at this point in time. And sort of Maxi, Jamie, Ray, maybe they're quite liking this game a little bit more than, say, Russell or Sam or Mike. But we'll see. Chronic Mace coming through the middle section. Doesn't look to be a very good time. In fact, it's 4 seconds down after 2 sectors. So must have made a mistake somewhere. As he goes into the stadium section with less than 5 to go, and he invalidates his time on the inside of that hairpin inside the stadium. So, not particularly ideal, I think, is a very nice way of putting that. As the boy comes through. Only car yet to set a lap time. And as long as he can set a lap time, probably in the 16s, I reckon he'll be fine for Q2. Of course, don't forget, it's full qualifying as well because we've got 17 drivers. Out of the Peraltada, he's going to start a lap time as well, as is Russell. We've got 2 cars on track at this point in time. They're in pretty close proximity, as Russell's going to be starting a lap time now as well. And he's just started his. It's about 1:15 lap time, as you can see on the left side of your screen. But again, we expect that to tumble as Q2 and Q3 progress and drivers get a little bit more comfortable with the situation that they're in at this point. Pardon me, just taking a little bit of a drink. The boy invalidates. Has F1 Russell done the same? No, he has not. So, Du Bois moves off track to let him through. Liam Harden, happy with 5th place, retires from Q1. Will likely, highly likely even, be into Q2 unless 10 drivers out of 12 can pull a spectacular lap time out of their arse. But I don't... Well, 11 out of 12, so this requires either Sam or Mike. I know them both pretty well, with all due respect. I don't think they're going to be able to get to a 15. Love you both, but... Oh well. Coming up to the line now, 14th place for Russell. Very close to the bubble. Improves his time, goes to 12th. Up by a second, but nowhere near enough positions than he would have wanted. Less than 3 to go, so we're going to be seeing final runs coming out shortly. Red Bull's coming out a little bit in the way there. That is Death in 4th place. Mike Wallace starts another lap. This is sort of his last-ditch attempt, really. He can come round and go again if he wants to. But that assumes he's going to make a mistake here on this first lap, which I don't think he will. Not a bad run through 1, 2, and 3. Second sector, first sector even triggers just on the run up into turn 4, and he's marginally up here on this very low downforce circuit because you've got all the long straights and it's high altitude. I think braking a little bit in the middle of that hairpin as well there for Michael, so not quite ideal. Go on board with the Red Bull. Ooh, losing the back end, keeping it steady. At least he kept it on track this time though. Better than last time where he crashed out through that section. 1.3 up, so could he be pushing? Well, could he be pushing Sam into the drop zone now? This could be interesting. Braking for the hairpin. Ooh, losing the back end through here. Not ideal. Into the Peraltada final real corner. Turn and push. Where's he going to come out? It's not going to be quite knocking Sam off, but it's an improvement nevertheless. It's a 20.5 for Mike Wallace, which is pretty good going. Still keeps him in 16th, but we'll see. Is Sam going to join him, or is the boy not going to have the pace? This is sort of the big battle, really, unless Sam can improve and push Rosberg down there. A couple of the guys further down, Smallgirl and Russell, they've both left, retired from the session, waiting for Q2 now. So they're quite happy with their lap time. Ordinarily, you wouldn't be, but given that you've got a couple of guys that are sitting on 19 and 20-second lap times, you're feeling a little bit more comfortable. As you don't think either of them can get past yourself. But we'll see what happens. The boy coming through, the only person to have not set a lap time, and he's going to have to go again because he's invalidated this one. So we could be seeing Sam pop through into Q2. That's a 16.8. So it would have counted. Well, had it counted, it would have put him into Q2. I think would be around about the mid-pack. As checkered flag is now, Death's retired from the session. And there's more cars coming, but this is the big one. Can Sam improve by anywhere near enough to get himself out of that drop zone? What's the second split time? It's half a second up. An improvement to be sure, but nowhere near enough for a position. We could be seeing something through this final section. No, we're not. That time is not going to go up. Mike Wallace is pitting, so that's his lap done and dusted. Du Bois retired, so Sam is coming through into Q2. Mike Wallace and Du Bois will not be. Now that's interesting, isn't it? I don't think he expected to quite be in Q2, did Sam, but I imagine that is going to be a welcome surprise. As we can see on the right-hand side, don't forget Chronic Mace is going to be getting 5-place grid drop as well. So he could be pushed all the way back to the bottom still if he gets knocked out in Q2. We're not going to see Mike, we're not going to see Du Bois in Q2. But we've still got 15 drivers fighting out for pole position. With 10 spots and 15 minutes to decide who gets them. Going to be pretty entertaining here in Mexico City. You do not want to go anywhere. I need to plug my phone in because it's on 5%. And I don't particularly want it to die midstream. So let me grab my charger just as we're loading here for Q2. Welcome to International Paddock for anybody who's just joining us here on this beautiful Friday evening. Euros are not on, so we're going to provide some pretty good racing instead. How about that? I think that's a good deal. I do quite like that deal, if I'm personally honest, but 15 drivers, 14:40 in terms of time. We're just going to be waiting for a few of them to come out now. Just checking the Discord. Du Bois love getting impeded because, of course, Chronic Mace did impede Du Bois, and that's why he's got that 5-place grid, which we're going to see in effect once Q3 ends in about half an hour's time-ish. But we'll see what these drivers can pull in terms of lap times. You usually see 2 runs, but for some of these guys we might even see a third. 15.2 I think was the fastest lap time in Q1, so we could be going below 15 here in Q2 or even Q3 as well. So there's still going to be lap time on the board for these guys to scoop up, as we're looking on with Stelia, the first man who's going to set lap time in Q2 here in this first race for UCR and Revamped Fridays in International Paddock. And then into this stadium section. 12 race calendar for anybody who is interested. 12 race calendar, 3 of which are sprints, none of which will be repeated in Season 2 because the Season 2 calendar draw has already happened as well. So the plan is for these guys for the rest of the year now is they've done a draw for the calendar. This was done a couple of weeks ago. In fact, exactly 2 weeks ago. So Season 1, Mexico, Suzuka, and then Silverstone, which is going to be a sprint weekend. Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Monaco, Austria, and Imola. And I believe Imola is going to be a sprint round as well. That's round 8. And then Miami, Canada, Spa, where Spa is also going to be a sprint round, and then Bahrain to round off the season. Then a week's break, and then we move into Season 2, which none of the tracks we're going to see in Season 1 are going to be in Season 2. So it really does challenge that second half of this tracks that are on the calendar. So Spain, Interlagos, Monza, Abu Dhabi, Vegas, Cotas, a bit of an American doubleheader there. China, the Netherlands, Australia, Singapore, Qatar, and ending in Azerbaijan. Sprints yet to be determined, but probably will be determined closer to the time. But we've still got, obviously, this season left to go. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Stelia fastest so far out of the 7 drivers that have set lap times. Let's go on board with F1 Russell, who's just started his first time of Q2. Liam Hardman as well. Back end wobbling into the stadium section. Invalidated lap before that as well. So not quite going so well for Liam Hardman. The ERC Masters champion. ERC does return next week. Managers on Wednesday. 100 on Thursday on Extra 2. New channel for us, and Masters on Sunday as well. That's going to be here on International Paddock, the main channel, as it were. Liam Hardman clattering the curbs through 1, 2, and 3. Sam 1:19.9, so similar time to what he set through the first qualifying session. I wouldn't imagine he's expecting much higher than 15th. However, we'll see what happens. Anybody who's in the big party? A lot of people are in the big party. I might join them in the middle of qualifying and the race. Get a few drivers' thoughts, and we'll see what we go from there. Russell 1:18.2, Liam Hardman going again. Ooh, that was pretty close to track limits in my opinion. Comes in, does Liam Hardman not quite happy with that lap time. So he's going to be going again. Malik Ray's also come out onto the track in the RB. Yes, RB, not Red Bull, RB. Death in 15th place. Teammate knocked out in Q1. That's Mike Wallace. Death. The way these teams have been set, I was talking to Jamie F1 Norris, currently still in the pits in 11th place, and he said that the teams have been set so that the overall team is equal, right? So you might have a good driver, but you're then also going to have a not good driver, or you might have two average drivers, right? And the point system is MotoGP, so if anybody who knows that MotoGP point system, it's top 15 get points, 25 points still for the win, but then it's a much nicer points going down system. So there's still plenty of points on offer, and Fast Slap is open to everyone as well. Worth pointing that out. We're going to see more safety cars in this as well, because safety cars are increased for this league. That's one specific thing that was mentioned to me that is different to most leagues. Death being held up a little bit. Ooh, Bakey getting in the way slightly, but Death still going fastest. 15-0. We're knocking on the doors of the sub-15 there. Ooh. Could it have been if it weren't for the Haas, I wonder? Worth thought. Is he going to go out again, though, at this point, or is he going to save his softs for 3 runs in Q3 if he needs them? Malagray 56.4 after 2 sectors into the stadium. Keeping it nice and tight with the curbs into the apex of the Peraltada, and then almost coming into the pits there. I thought he was, goes second. But that's an inventive line through that section of track. Not usual that we see anything like that. Plenty of time still to come. 3 drivers haven't set a lap time. F1 Russell and Sam also in the drop zone. Rosberg on the cut line. Norris, Liam Hardman and Maxi, who won't be actually be taking part in this second qualifying session. He said he's going to go out, but he's going to come back in time, hopefully, for the race. That's what they've said. And that's, I imagine, what's going to happen. Liam Hardman started a lap. Rosberg's on another one. As he come across the first sector cut. Slightly down. Not quite the best run at the Peraltada and through 1, 2 and 3. Not ideal for the Mercedes man. Of course, the other Mercedes man, De Boy, has been knocked out of Q1. He's going to be starting from dead last place, most likely. Unless Chronic Mace can get himself down there. 10th up on his personal best. Needs a stellar final sector to have any remote chance of improving his position. Sector 2 yellows. That's sort of exit of the S's. 17.5 to beat. 17.2 is his time. So he's got a second buffer. But it's still 10th place. Not exactly the safest position as Liam Hardman goes faster still. 15.0 to 9. So still only 2 more drivers yet to set a time. Sam goes off track. Norris comes through. I sort of feel that was a little bit intentional from Sam. 15.9. That's good time, that. From what we've seen so far from some of the drivers. Stay on board with the McLaren as he comes through the stadium section. Exit of the final corner. Is it going to be Norris at the top? Not quite. Goes into 3rd place, but he finally set a lap time on the board. So we've got an idea of who is going to be going out in Q2. And at this point in time, it's Marnie on the brink. Small girl in 10th place, 17.070. No, that's not a phone number. Bakey in the drop zone, Rosberg in the drop zone, Russell in the drop zone, and Sambo in the drop zone, as well as Maxi. But Maxi won't be setting a lap in Q2. 4.5 minutes left in qualifying 2, and then we're going to be seeing 12 minutes for 10 drivers to go for gold. And it's big honours as well because it is the first pole position of the season. So there's some pretty big kind of, what's it called? Stakes. That's the word I'm looking for. Pretty big stakes. Just looking at the chat. Hi, Mitch. Just me, mate. Gary had to call out, unfortunately. Kieran Wright. Teams have been allocated to the average between both teams. The teammates in each team should be similar, therefore potentially making the constructors very, very interesting. That's the whole point. Trying to focus more on the constructors than on the drivers. So much more of a team effort in general. Just been on an in lap. Here's Russell. Coming through the second sector. Again, slightly up. Needs to be up by a pretty hefty margin. Again, needs a stellar final sector. It's what we've seen quite a few times. Deep into the hairpin. Clatters the curbs through 14 and 15. Into 16. Invalidates his time. And goes into the pits. Not quite. He can go again if he wants. But he's got 3 minutes. So he's not going to be able to go in. And then back out. Because he's just not going to have the time. Smuggle also on the brink in the kick car. Lynn Palmer retired from the session, happy with, well, very happy with the 15-0. So again, we're knocking on the door of that 1:14 time. Could be seeing it in Q3. We could also see it in Q2 here, to be fair. Ray retires in 4th. Small Girl second down, so maybe another sort of prep lap. Piastri up by 0.03 of a second. Here he comes from 9th to stay 9th and can go again. Crap final sector in comparison to being minorly up on the second. Ooh, struggling through the peril tider is Mitch. Improves his time, not his position, but gets close to Chronic Mason Bish in 6th and 7th. The two Ferraris doing very, very well. And there's, again, still plenty of lap time on the board. Through the first chicane. Sam on an outlap as well. There's 3 other cars on an outlap. Death going for a second run at it, trying to top the session. I wouldn't have imagined he needs to, because he's top of the, well, second top of the leaderboard and doesn't really need to be pushing. But that's probably just personal preference. 3.5 seconds down. Russell retired from the sessions. We've got 2 guaranteed drivers, and we're going to have a third as well. Bakey's not going to have the time to come out and go for a lap and get to the checkered flag before the time. So we've got 3 drivers that are out, but we're going to see 2 more confirmed. Sam, who's just started a lap time, needs to improve by almost 3 seconds on his personal best. And Rosberg only needs just over a 10th across 4.5 kilometres. So it's not quite impossible, but difficult, yes. Not as much distance as you'd think, say, Spa, where you've got more time, more space, where you can pick up the time. Smallgill sets the benchmark, goes 16.0, improves by a second, and now that opportunity for Rosberg is closing ever still, because it is 16.4. Now the drop zone for Jordan in the McLaren, 10th place for F1 Piastri / Jordan. Oh, bad. Mitch in 9th place, up slightly. We'll go on board with Rosberg. He is a third of a second up after the first sector, but needs to pull something mystical out of his back end. We'll see through the second sector. Can he get himself through? Ooh, he's half a second up. And he needs just over half a second. So, you know, this could push Jordan into the drop zone. Could be quite interesting. Rosberg coming to the line. Is it going to be Jordan or is it going to be the McLaren? it's the Mercedes even that is going to be dropping out in Q2. Sam improved his time, but not... He improved his position as well. Got ahead of F1 Russell. So good stuff for Sam. Going to start in 13th place, possibly 12th as well. Seeing where Chronic Mace comes out in qualifying. Jordan's just going to sit there menacingly on the inside of that apex unnecessarily. Going to the pits already, man. They're only waiting for you now, so pick up the pace a little bit, yeah? Let's get to Q3. Q3, 12 minutes, 10 drivers, and 1 pole position, 2 spots on the front row. However, it's going to be interesting. Long drafting battle into turn 1, so maybe first place isn't exactly where you want to be. You do obviously get the 20 odd meters ahead of cars behind you, not including first row obviously. Just waiting for a graphic to finish up in the McLaren garage, and you can see the top 10 on your screen. It's Death, Liam, Jamie, Ray, Mitch, Stelio, Bish, Chronic Mace, Marnie Smallgirl, and F1 Piastri. I think that's Jordan. 3 of those lap times were set on mediums, one of which was sub 15. This could get very, very interesting. Q3 is coming your way, and you do not want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. Gorgeous. Let me see if I can, perchance, invite 1 or 2 of the drivers in for a little bit of an interview. Who do we want to talk to? Who's in this big old party? Well, we can chat with... Could chat with Bakey. Let's drag Sam in, if he wants to, of course. We'll hopefully see Sam come through in a minute or 2. Ooh! Bit of a fight with the 2 Saubers. Hello, Sam. Little bit of a driver interview, if you don't mind.
Sure thing.
Just for like 2 minutes. You got to Q2. I wasn't sure if you would. How'd it go?
I extracted the most I could out of the car. I don't think I could have got more out of that. I was a second off of the next car, so honestly, over expectations a little bit, but I suppose you need a little bit of luck.
I mean, you did get a little bit of luck.
I'll be honest, I'm sounding a little bit like the Scottish manager right now, but hey ho.
Yeah, you are. You are, I'll be honest. But you did get ahead of someone who, not just someone who didn't set a time. You did get ahead of, I think it was Russell.
Yeah, I got ahead of Kieran, and I also got ahead of, well, I think the other
Yeah.
new Aston Martin driver. Managed to get time on the board, and then.
Yeah, no. So they were. Yeah, they were. We'll get onto Mike in a sec, but yeah, the second Aston Martin wasn't left and is going to come back for the race, but it's still sort of in the lobby kind of thing. How does that sort of 13th place, does that help your confidence knowing that you've beaten someone to
I'll
a position?
be honest.
Like proper.
The car doesn't want to. The rear end of the car doesn't want to kill me as much with the setup that I did put on the car, at least, which was the most important thing. It was the most important thing. I'll be 100% on it.
Hallelujah.
Half an hour, 45 minutes trying to do that, like about 2 or 3 days before that.
Oh goodness. Mike in 16th as well. Lucky by De Boy, not lucky for him. De Boy unfortunately did not get to set a lap time. But what are you thinking just going into this race?
Avoid penalties and avoid basically getting in anyone else's collisions. I think my pace is probably about lower half of that top 15.
Okay. So, have you got a rough target, maybe?
I think somewhere around about where I finish, or where I qualify, somewhere between 13th and 15th. It's a low bar, but
It is.
got to start somewhere.
But yeah, you've got to start somewhere. I'll let you go, but just before you go, Dogs 2020 is just redeemed stretch, so you know what to do. Fuck. Oh, you need to do it as well.
I'll go. There we go.
I'm just doing one to the side and one to the other side. All right, cheers, buddy.
Right on. I wish you all the best for the rest of this. If you see me back at any point, you know what happened.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to keep the party open.
I'll catch up with you in a bit.
I'll see you in a bit, mate. Well, that was very, very fun. Liam Harden, in the meantime, set 14.3, which is a pretty damn good lap time. Death going to second, 15.0, so he's already got a massive gap. Has Liam almost guaranteed pole position at that sort of pace. Goodness me. Really showing what that Sauber can do. The other side, Sauber piloted by Small Girl, currently in 10th place as well. She's coming across the line now as well. Where's the lap data? There's the lap data. Not quite an ideal lap time. 19.5. We've seen much better from her. But I imagine we will see another lap time come in. Piastri goes into 4th place as well. Jamie Norris in 9th, Ray in 10th. Neither of those have set a lap time. Remember, Chronic Mace, I believe he's going to have that 5-place grid drop, so he is going to be starting at this point in time in 8th place. Pushing Piastri up to 3rd, Stelly to 4th, Mitch to 5th, Bish to 6th, and Small Girl into 7th. So again, little bit of sort of remembering and worth sort of bearing in mind, as we're already almost halfway into Q3. That interview with Sam was very, very fun, as it always is. Do love Sam. You can catch Sam, I believe, next time you catch Sam is on Thursday. He's going to be on Simtech F1. That's going to be on Thursday on Extra. Recently announced what with the GT racing that we're going to be starting to broadcast on International Paddock. He's going to be, Simtech is moving down to Extra for at least for this season. But we'll see what happens in the coming months. Jamie starting a lap time, 5 minutes 35 left to run. We'll go on board with the McLaren Gales in the first sector, but that's just a slow-moving car. I'd imagine out of the pits looks to be a Williams Stelvio. 27.98 after that first sector. Then into the second, turn 6, keeping it nice and steady. Bit of a rear-end wobble, I think, through the actual corner itself. Riding quite a lot of the curbs through that first part of the S and the second part as well, but keeping it steady. Doing very well as Jamie, 55.6. That's also a very good lap time so far through 2 sectors. Keeping it tight to the apex. Good exit into the Peraltada. Could be pushing pole. Here's Jamie, 14.6. Goes into 3rd. Pretty good. 200ths off of Death. Which you do not want Death chasing you, because otherwise he will literally kill you. I don't apologise for my joke. Ray goes into 4th place as well, so finally everybody has set a lap time for the first time in a qualifying session for UCR. As he goes into stadium section. Doesn't look to be quite a lap time. In fact, he's definitely lifted off through here. I think there's about 4 minutes of quali left to go. This is UCR's first qualifying session. He's gone into the pits. There's 3:50, so also exactly 4 minutes probably when I said it. I'm actually quite happy with that, I'm not going to lie. But this is UCR's first qualifying session. This is UCR's first race as a whole. So a lot on the line here. Liam Harden goes even faster, 14.066. Oh, could we see a sub 14? Would be very, very interesting. I'd love to see it, because that would be some pretty stellar pace, but I don't think we're going to be seeing another lap time from Liam in the Sauber. It's a 1:14 lap time. We could possibly. It's a little bit of a stretch, but it's not out of possibility, I don't think. Small girl on a lap time, 5.5 seconds behind her teammate. Really needs to sort of pick up the pace to have any hope of starting other than 10th. Well, it's going to be 9th because of Chronic Mason's penalty, because again, 5-place grid drop for a collision with Du Bois. And partly because of that, Du Bois was unable to set a time. Is into the 2nd sector goes Marnie. Into turn 7 now as well. Left-hander taking it around about 4th gear. Ooh, I think it was a little bit unsteady there. Liam Hardman feeling pretty happy with himself with a 14.066. I would be as well if I had set that lap time, I'll be honest. That's a pretty damn good lap time. 3.2 seconds up on her personal best. 56.8 after 2 sectors. We've seen times from people like Jamie and Death with around about 55.9, so around about a second off of some of the top times. But here's Marnie. Can she put herself in that mid-top 10? She puts herself in 7th. Good going. Can go again if she wants to, but she probably shouldn't go into the pit if she wants to do exactly that. Stella in 9th place. Going to be pushing all the way to the line. 15.4. 1 second up on his personal best. Goes to 6th place. Nice done for the Williams. Splits the 2 Ferraris who have been together for so long in this 3rd qualifying session. They're now split apart by long rivals Williams. Of course, a lot of history within that rivalry. A lot of history within both teams, actually. So, you know, we absolutely love to see it. Ray on an outlap, Jamie on an outlap, Death on an outlap. And the first of those to start a lap is going to be Jamie in 3rd place, the one in the middle of the twain. Down into turn 1. Ooh, let's see. Is he going to have any problems keeping it steady through 1, through 2, and through 3? Chronic Mace retires with 7th. So he's going to be starting 12th at best because he's got that 5-spot grid drop. Into turn 4. Marginally up on his personal best is Jamie. Let's see what Death and Ray do. Death, 1/4 of a second up with the fastest first sector. Now this is going to get challenging. We'll stay on board with the Red Bull, as Ray also comes through the top end of the circuit through the S's. Riding the curbs, not quite as much as we've seen drivers like Jamie do, so still a lot of pace could be discovered. Not ideal through the middle sector, needs to pull something out of that final sector. Jamie to the line, 14.576, puts himself on that front row. At this point in time, Death invalidates. The only person who could really knock him off that front row is Ray, as he comes into the Peraltada now. Where's he going to be lining up? Is he going to be up? Is he going to be down? He's going to be in the pit lane. So it is Liam Hardman who is going to claim the first ever UCR pole position. Brilliant stuff for, again, the ERC Masters winner, showing his class and showing his pace as well. Small Girl goes to 9th place as well. I think improves the time marginally, but not really by enough for a position. A stop of vibrations by taking down to Bish, because when you're stuck on, when you've got the camera on someone who's in the pits and going into the garage, your controller vibrates like a madman possessed. Now that's not particularly ideal from personal experience, but you know, oh well. Top down on your screen, Liam Hardman, Jamie Death in third, trying to chase after the two with his sickle or whatever he's got in his hands and his dark roads and whatever else. Ray, Bish, Stelio, Mitch, Chronic, May, Small Girl, and F1 Piastri, and that's George, coming through 71 laps ahead of us. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be good. It's the first race of UCR coming soon. Well, in a few minutes. 2056 is going to be the race start. So in about 5 minutes' time. Just had the message from Kieran. Thank you very much, babes. And it's not raining, but it's a little bit cloudy. So it could. It very, very well could. I'm not saying that it should. I'm simply saying that it could. Let's check the UCR Discord. Not much cracking in. Right. Well, let me quickly run you through the big differences for this league. No rain expected on the forecast. Glad to hear me. Kieran, please correct me with any of this information if I'm wrong. Full distance, full quali, as you're seeing right now. It's MotoGP point system, so top 15 do get points. It goes 25 for first, all the way down to 15th gets 1 point. Budgeon's just joined. Probably going to be starting at the back end of the grid. But Budgeon's a very good racer. So he could really throw the cat amongst the pigeons if he's starting at the back. Safety cars are increased, so we're going to be seeing a little bit more safety car action than normal, especially in the early part of the race. Once we hit the allocation, maybe not, but we'll see. We'll definitely see what's happening there. Red flags are on as well, so we don't often see in-league racing red flags being turned on. So always pleasant to see that function in-game being in use. Because, of course, it also does throw in a strategical spanner. Because you can, of course, change tyres and fix any damage as such. Budgeon's left the session. Okay. I was going to say. I didn't think Budgeon was on this specific race timetable, as it were. But yes, it's going to be a thrilling race, and it's always brilliant to see a new league coming up. And again, Jamie and the crew, they've all already ran, for those of you that know SFR. It's the same people that are running it. So it's always brilliant to see. While I'm here also, well, we've got a bit of a break. I should mention that ERC Season 13 is going to be starting next week. No ERC podcast, as confirmed by Bird earlier today in the media streams with Andrew, not Bird, with EXO. With EXO and Andrew earlier today. So Supercharge going to be having their first round proper. China and Interlagos. That'll be this Monday PM. Simtech F2, they're going to be racing Zandvoort on Tuesday. Wednesday, ERC Manager's calendar has not been released and will probably not be released until Sunday. So there's that, sort of really having to force the drivers to wait till the last minute. Thursday, mega day for International Paddock. First GT race is going to be happening on the main channel. On Extra is Simtech F1 at Qatar. Now that's going to be a sprint event. And the 100 round 1 for ERC on Extra 2, also calendar not announced. And then we're on next Friday, where you've got UCR round 2 at Suzuka, and then on Sunday is ERC Masters. So a lot happening next week. Everything is sort of kicking back into gear, and that's all going to be happening across all 3 of our channels. If anybody would like to join the Discord server, I will please ask and I will grab a link in a little while. If you're not in there already, that's where we announce any major changes and all of that sort of good stuff. You can also keep up to date with all the other leagues that we've got on socials, at international_paddock, at intpaddock on Twitter, at internationalpad, PAWD on TikTok. Just heads up, I will DC at some point during this race, but I'll rejoin once I'm home. Currently racing at my missus's house. Oh! Okay, right. I will try to remember. Big ol' emphasis on try. Because we're talking about me here, and I'm not sure that I'm going to remember, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Thank you for bringing that up. Tyres. Yellow wool. With a little bit of white in between. Liam Harder on the hards. Piastri on the hards. Bakey on the hards. Maxi on the hards. Everybody else on the softer medium tyre. We're going to see tyre strategies come up in a little while. Sort of closer to the start, the cars lining up. Pardon me. Du Bois, the only man not to have set a time, who's ahead of Mike Wallace for some reason. Not really fully sure why. He should be behind, but whatever. Maybe Mike's reflexes aren't quite that good in his old age. He did hit. To be fair, I'm not taking a dig. He did confirm something last night that happened half a decade ago. So half a century ago, even. Half a decade ago, I'm still alive. Coming through the Foro Sol on the formation lap is Liam Hardman, trying to get it quickly over and done with. All the other cars taking it a little bit slower than most. As Liam Hardman is going to be lining up on the left side of the grid. Are we going to see a good line to the lights? Yes, we are. Hey! Hallelujah for that. Not often that we do. For anybody who's watching Zandvoort last night, we had a crap lineup. We had to go aboard with one of the drivers in 4th place. So, thankfully, we've got a much better line. I should also mention that I've got a bit of a cold, so that's why my nose is a little bit stuffy, as you can see, as you can hear anyway. UCR is lined up, all ready to go. Lights are coming on. 71 laps, race 1, season 1 here at UCR. And we're away. New league of racing is go. Looks to be a good start for Death there. He's going to take the left line. It's going to be 3 wide, 4 wide already as Ray tries to force himself in there. This is a brilliant start. There's a Ferrari trying to get his way in there. That looks to be Bish trying to force his way through. Into turn 1. There's already contacts. Liam Hardman's had a bit of a spin. Raising contacts. Oh my word, what's happened there? Virtual safety car is in play. Liam Hardman's got 10-second penalty for a collision with Ray, and I imagine he's the only one that's got a penalty for that lap 1 incident. But Dev, Bish, Stelio's your 1, 2, 3. Maxi gets ahead of F1 Russell, but I imagine that's under safety car, so they've probably had to change that back. Either that or they will return to where they were shortly. Oh my word, what a start. Rather befitting, I think, of UCR. As they come through the S for the first time under safety car, under virtual safety car even slightly. As we're probably going to be getting ready to go any second now. Just waiting for everything to go back to green. Biggest movers off of that start. Well, pretty much everybody other than the top, other than the bottom 3, have all moved up positions. Chronic Mace up 8 after having that 5-spot grid drop as well after the penalty for a collision. Mitch gone into the pits now. He's up 9. Du Bois up 9 as well, up 10. Even with that penalty that comes in, we're underway. We're back in green. There's already a move being made from Du Bois. He's side by side with Baker Gaming. This is for 6th place overall. There's a McLaren trying to get his way in there as well. That is Piastri, who dives both down the inside, but we'll have to give both positions up. They're 3 wide through turn 2. Oh my word, what are we seeing? On board with Du Bois, forced to the inside. Piastri gets past. Baker Gaming is in the middle of the sandwich. Into the left goes Du Bois. He's going to try and make the move on Baker. Around the outside, though, defensive goes the Haas. Nicely done by the Scotsman. And that is move defended by Baker. Goodness me. What a start. And if we're getting this, I'm quite liking where this is going. You know what I mean? Oh my word, my nose is absolutely stuffed. But we'll press on. We'll press on. Maxi trying to get through into this big old battle as well. Battle for 6th place. Piastri, Bakey, Du Bois, Maxi as well. Maxi almost actually made contact with Du Bois there in 8th place. That would have been a risky play. Jamie already right on the back of Liam Hardman. Bakey looks to have gone into the pit lane, as has Smallgill, so a little bit of damage picked up by some of these guys already. Can I get an invite, please? Game crashed. Do I have you, mate? I'm not sure I do. Let me check. I've got... I'm not sure I've got you, mate. Du Bois got 3 seconds. Are you all good? You're in. Good. Small girl gets overtaken by man like Ray as well as they come out of the pit lane. Meanwhile, the gap between Death and Bish is closing down to within 1 second. We'll keep an eye on that. And these guys trundle through the S's. Piastri off the track there. Ooh, can Du Bois dive into the inside? No, he can't. A little bit too risky. Contact with Maxi as Du Bois already picked up a 3-second time penalty using a lot of curb. We did see that in qualifying. Liam Hardman mentioned it. Liam Hardman mentioned it in the chat that he was using quite a lot of curb on qualifying, so he wasn't surprised that he wasn't able to set a lap time. But we'll stay on board with this battle here. This is for 6th place overall. Here comes Du Bois down the inside on Piastri. He's making that move stick, but Piastri defensive around the outside of turn 1. Through turn 2, he has to succumb that position. Does Du Bois, but he's got the DRS down this back straight as well. But he's got Maxi right on the back. So this could get quite interesting, quite feisty. No moves being made as yet, but still 70, just under 70 laps to go. We're going to see, in fact, plenty of stuff happening regardless. That 4 of 71, Death, Bish, Stelio, you're 1, 2, 3 at this point in time. Chronic Mace, what a start. After having a 5-place grid drop, already up to 4th place. Brilliant. Rosberg in 5th, Piastri in 6th as well for the 2F1. Real life driver name, guys. Brilliant stuff. Maxi, great exit out of turn 11. Braking into the Forest Sol. The boy outbrakes himself a little bit. He's going to try and go right back down the inside. A little bit extra speed. Cuts the curb, though. That could be a penalty. In fact, if it isn't a penalty, it's definitely a warning. The boy using a lot of curb. I've realised that, yeah. He is using quite a lot of curb, excessively so. Like, I understand using curb, but it's sort of excessive at this point. Maxi past Piastri. That's into 5th place, down the inside. Piastri also again defending around the outside. Can't make it stick around the inside. Contact, though. I'm not sure if... Piastri's had to drop back a little bit, opening the door up to the boy and Jamie and Liam Hardman behind. Here's the boy down the inside into 4. It's difficult to overtake into 4. Ooh, Piastri has to check up on the brakes. He's going for a really blocking move, but he's lost parts of his front wing, though. Has the boy, so Piastri, Norris, Liam Hardman, they're definitely going to want to get past as soon as they really can, especially through this section, as that man ahead has no front wing end plates. And I imagine, yeah, Piastri has lost one of his. I think he's going to let his teammate Jamie through, but what a start that we've seen already. We're not even 10% in. Goodness me. Change for the lead. Death back ahead of Bish. They swapped last lap. They swapping again this lap. Du Bois, 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Not ideal, picking up already a lot of penalties. He's sitting on 16. Liam Hardman's got 10 as well, most likely for speeding in the very same pit lane. As Du Bois is going to be coming out a little, well, quite far down, ahead of F1 Rosberg. As we've got this battle for the lead that has sort of emerged at this point in time. Lap 6 of 71, there's still sort of 66, I think, laps left to go. So plenty of action, plenty of time, about an hour and a half, realistically, before this race is anywhere near done. Pardon me. But we'll be all A-OK. Chronic Mace, 3 seconds, gets a track limits penalty. 3 seconds at the top. If anybody sees 3 seconds, it's usually a track limits penalty. Every 3 track limits violations, you get a 3-second penalty. It's usually triggered under multiple warnings, but more often than not, it does turn out to be a penalty for track limits. On board with Bish, closing, not closing enough to Death ahead of him, though, trying to catch Death and get ahead of him, but not seemingly able to do so. Du Bois in the pits again. They not fixed his front wing, serving some of his that 10-second time penalty. Are they not fixing his front wing then? Now they are. There we go. Same problem with Kieran. Happened. Ray pass, small girl. This is for 14th and 15th place. It's a minor points paying position. Remember, top 15 get points here. But still points regardless. It's a good move by Ray, though. And for anybody who watched the ads that doesn't want to watch the ads anymore, ooh, no, not quite. A little too far away is mine. If you don't want to watch the ads, feel free to subscribe to International Paddock. You can either do it standard, or you can do it with Prime. If you haven't got Prime, all you need to do is link your Prime account to your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch, and then you can get all the added benefits and bonuses thereof that come with Twitch Prime, including one free subscription that you can use recurring. So feel free to use it on us if you can, like we saw Sam do last night. Speaking of Sam, he's in 9th place at the moment, so I'm in a little bit of a no man's land with, God forbid, Mike Wallace in 8th place ahead of him. Highest I've ever seen him in an F1 race. In F2, he has been sort of up there, but in F1 is a different gravy. Two very good friends fighting side by side. It's 12th and 13th. It's F1 Piastri against F1 Rosberg. Here comes Jordan down the inside. Ooh, damage for the Mercedes even. Not ideal. Rosberg's going to have to go into the pits again to fix that front wing. So a lot of contact driving being shown here in the first race of UCR. So very interesting to see. I wonder what some people like the stewards and all are going to have to say about that. Let's drop back down to 14th and 15th, Malay Ray and Small Girl. 14th and 15th. Again, minor points paying positions, however, points nonetheless. Because one is better than none, after all. Coming through the S's. They're just outside of 1 second of each other, so they're not quite going to have DRS. But they very easily and very well could do. Oh my word. Lap 9 of 71, Death leads the pack. And Death's minions, Bish, Stelio and Chronic Mace are forced to stay behind the Lord of Murder himself. Maxi in 5th, Norris Jamie in 6th, Hardman and Liam in 7th, Wallace Mike in 8th, and Box Sam in 9th, and Beanhe Minden in 10th. Why did I start pronouncing things like that? I honestly don't know, but go with it. That's what I usually do. Close battle on track at this point in time is this battle here, 14th and 15th place. As Ray and Small Girl dives down the inside into turn 4, but a little too far away. Was quite aspirational, that one. I wasn't sure that she was even going to consider that, let alone actually go for it. But, you know, very brave move regardless. That's a position not quite gained, but attempted. By our good friend. Sam and Mitch change positions. That's down the front stretch. And then down into turn 4 until Maxi gets ahead of Chronic. Mace will stay on board with Sam, who said himself he's not fully happy with the car, but he's happy the car doesn't quite want to send him off all the way down to Colombia. Which, I mean, you've got a lot of space. So if a car wanted to send you to Colombia, all they needed to do is a ramp and you going full pelt. And Bob's your uncle on that one. But we'll see. Bakey and Piastri. I think that's Jordan. Coming into the hairpin at 6. Double apex, of course. This track originally remodeled by the big man Herman Tilke, who it works sometimes, not quite for others. And this one, I think it's worked somewhat. Not all of it, but some of it definitely has. Sam, 3 seconds for track limits penalties, as he's trying to catch up to Mike Wallace, now who Minden's overtaken. So he's taken 2 cars within the space of a lap, which is always pretty good going, but if it's Mike and Sam, then maybe. Depends on your own personal opinion on them both. I love them both dearly, but they're not great. Nah, I'm joking. Love your boys to bits. Here's Jordan, past Bakey even. Not Bakey, Bakey. Bakey trying to defend right back down the inside. Can't quite make that work. Little too far away. DRS very, very strong around this circuit. You get the double DRS as well, so Jordan will definitely be able to pull away. As he comes through 4 and 5. And then into turn 6. That's that is a whole lap of the what is called the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, which for those of you that don't know Spanish, which is a lot of people, is the Autodrome of the Brothers Hermanos. I like to think I can do an accent, but I'm fully aware that I can't, and I'm not going to try. Since Mitch overtook Mike Wallace, he's opened up a 4-second gap on him. However, Sam Mike's opened up a gap on Sam by about a second as well. So Mike's showing he has got some decent pace. He did tell me last night that he did put in a very, very good lap in China, at least for his standards. So, you know, maybe that little bit of extra confidence that he had after doing those laps came in handy. We're 6th of the way through this race so far. Welcome to International Paddock for those of you who are new to this. F1 Russell gets a 3-second time penalty. That doesn't happen often. 17th and Stone Dead last at this point in time. Death leads the pack. And we're already seeing some cars being lapped. Kieran's already been lapped by Death, and look who's not very far behind, trying to stalk the Aston Martin. It's the Ferrari of Bish. So there's still quite a lot to go. Let's go on board with Stelio, battle for third place, bottom step of the podium. Third and fourth, Aston versus Williams. One is a very well-renowned team, the other a very, very well-renowned car maker. Back-end wobble for Maxi with a lock-up as well. Oh my word. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze there for a second. Chronic Mace and Jamie. Jamie's got a great drive out of the S's into turn 13. He's going to take 5th place off of Chronic Mace. And now he's going to have to fight for his right to party and get further ahead in this field. Of course, league ran by Jamie, who again is in 5th place, just past Chronic Mace as you saw. Chronic Mace could very easily make his way back into that 5th spot. Double DRS. In fact, I think he only uses one DRS zone. That's into turn 1, and that is a move retaken by Chronic Mace. Pretty standard overtake around here, but still very nicely executed nonetheless. That is 5th place back into Chronic Mace's hands. He's going to try and retaliate is Jamie, but no DRS, no party. So can't really make that work either. Bit of a lock-up for Stelio looks to be on approach into turn 6 going through that corner. Bish has left the session. Now I have Bish. So let me drag... I think I have Bish anyway. Let me try and drag the bastard in. There he is. Good man. Good stuff. We'll see it get a little bit brighter in a sec. There we go. Once that notification clears. Jamie trying to get past Chronic Mace once again into this corner, not able to do so, or possibly lifting off and trying to avoid doing the exact same thing he did the lap before. Looking on with this battle here, 5th and 6th. We're on board with the McLaren. Let's see how fast he can go. While passing 203, 202, 20, so 203 is really the top end of the speed that he was taking while overtaking. This track does, I believe, hold the fastest single moment of speed. It's either that or Imola. It's like 368, I think. Something like that. Kilometers an hour. Chronic Mace gets 3 seconds for track limits. 15 laps in, and we've got a lot of track limits penalties coming in. Of course, there is a lot of space where you can go off track, right? There's a lot of asphalt runoff. But still, you're not meant to use it. That's only meant to be there if you need it, not if you want to use it. We're not quite IndyCar or NASCAR, as a matter of fact. Wherefore, we're a little bit more reserved, as it were. So, you know, let's sort of not use it if we can. If any drivers are listening, can we sort of do exactly not that? That would be ideal, I think. Mike Wallace is the next victim for F1 Piastri. That is Jordan. Ray's getting 3 seconds for track limits. Mike's got a great drive, to be fair, out of the pedal tartar, but Jordan is going to be closing and closing and closing. He's seeing the right rear end of that Oracle Red Bull racing car. He's going to go to the inside. He's going to squeeze him out a little bit, but he doesn't really need to do that because he got past well before braking. So Mike Wallace stuck a little bit. Poor exit out of the first chicane. I was about to call it Tamburello. Talking about Imola, damn it. I thought he was going to go for it, but we lifted and coasted there, and then went into brakes. And Mike Wallace proving he's got a lot of pace, and now he's got to be careful for Bakey Gaming right behind him, struggling through the hairpin at 6. And then into the S's. Difficult section. We saw Mike struggling. We're seeing Mike struggling right now. 2 wide through here. Nicely done by Bakey Gaming, keeping it clean. And that is for 10th place overall. Well done. And now he's going to clear away, as we've seen a lot of drivers do. Clear away from the Cheshire Man, the crew supporter. And he's already a second behind. He's going to have DRS, but he's not really going to be able to make any sort of move, really. Because... what was I going to do? Oh. Gosh. Not that. Goodness me. Du Bois passed man like Ray, so Du Bois finally making moves again. To his credit, Mike Wallace has closed up, but it's through this twisty section where he loses most time. Struggling on corner exits is usually what happens. And then through the S's as well. That was very, very close to the wall. Fair dues for not actually hitting it. Goodness me, that was very close indeed. On board with Stelio, who's just been passed by F1 Rush Jamie for 4th place. So climbing up the field. Next is Bish, 1.1 seconds away. Is he still in AI? No, he's not. Okay, I thought he was. Because he was earlier for a brief moment. Maybe that sort of knocked his confidence, knocked him out of his rhythm a little bit, because especially through this section, you need to be in the rhythm to get it right. Here comes Jamie trying down the inside. He's looking, but he doesn't want to make the same mistake that he made a couple of laps ago, where he was fighting with Chronic Mace. So he holds off on getting past and waits till this big old DRS zone. Bish into the pits he goes. See what sort of tyres Bish pops on. Onto the hard tyre, off of the medium. And he's going to come out behind Mitch, but ahead of Jordan. So that'll be 8th place, 8 points. Because, again, a pleasant reminder that it is the MotoGP point system, not quite the F1 one, slightly different, but it's still 25 points for a win, and that's about all the similarities that there are with this system. As far as I'm aware, anyway. Lap 19 of 71, you're live with International Paddock here for Revamped Fridays with UCR Race 1, Season 1, first ever broadcast race for UCR. It's almost side by side into the stadium section here in Mexico City. It's Liam Hardman and Chronic Mesa. This is going to be a very, very good battle. Both cars have got some damn good pace. As Ray gets 3 seconds for track limits. He's going to be closing. Is that Ferrari trying to still make up for that 5-spot grid drop that he had? He's getting past into turn 1, but Liam Hardman does seem to have a lot of pace through the twisty bits. There's possibly a little bit more downforce on the Sabri, that all those tyres are much, much better treated. The hard tyres. Is he on the hard tyres? Yeah, he's been on the hard tyres since the start. So maybe this is sort of the point where the hards become better than the mediums. Now I wonder. We'll see in the next couple of laps. Ray gets another 3-second time penalty. As he's stalking him right through the S's, right on his gearbox. Ray 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Ray retires from the session. And Liam Hardman says, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't want 5th place at this point in time. Waits for the front straight. He is going to have DRS. He is within 1 second of the car ahead. DRS detection point is just under the exit of the stadium to buoy 3 seconds for multiple warnings, as we're watching Liam Hardman try to close in on Chronic Mace, but he can't really do that. In fact, Chronic Mace has opened up the gap. How's he done that with DRS? Unless he's absolutely drained his battery, which isn't exactly the wisest of decisions. But of course, personal preference, Liam Hardman is going to close up through this middle bit before they head out onto the twin back straights, the twin front straights once again. Small girl 3 seconds for multiple warnings. 21 of 71, 51 to go. As they come through the S, death leads from Maxi. Maxi's closing in on death now. It was 12 seconds, it is now 8. It's closed up within about the past 5 or 6 laps or so. So worth having a look. Here we go side by side into the stadium section. Liam Hardman tries the outside of the hairpin. Hello, rare move. But the thing is, he's not quite going to have DRS, yes. ERS we'll see. But he's not quite going to have the rear wing flap that's going to open. Will stay on board with the Ferrari. He's closing. Does Liam defend? Yes, he does. Tries to push Chronic Mace to the inside. And all that's done is it's let Chronic Mace get right back past even before braking for turn 1. So Chronic Mace is doing a very, very good job in terms of keeping Liam Hardman behind him. But all this is doing is it's letting people like Stelio, who's 4 seconds up, who's going through turn 6 now. All that's doing is letting him through. But here goes Liam Hardman up the inside now. He needs to try and pull away due to a mistake from Chronic Mace on the exit of turn 5. That's not something well, it's something we've seen actually quite often. I was going to say not something you see quite often, but we have seen that quite a few times in this race so far already. As hold on, forgive me, I am going to blow my nose because I can't. Bear with me a second. Hello again, welcome back. Hopefully my voice doesn't sound as nasal as it did before. Both Piastri and Russell picking up 3-second time penalties within very quick succession of each other. Let's see what the penalty numbers are sitting like. Liam Hardman's got 10 plus 3, 10 of which he can serve under pits. 3 he cannot. That's just going to be added to his post-race time. Du Bois, 7 track limits penalties in 23 laps. That's quite a lot. In fact, he's retired from the session in the pits, so he's not all too happy with how that race has gone. I imagine there's going to be some reaction in the Discord, which I will check ever so shortly. Piastri on 9, Chronic on 9, looking on with him in 6th place, as everybody obviously gets promoted a spot. Chronic Mace gets another 3-second time penalty, so he's up to 12. Bish on 3, and then Sambo, Smallgill and Russell are each on 6 seconds. And would you believe it, the game has decided, yeah, let's spit Du Bois' car out, despite the fact that he's already retired. I mean, that's not exactly your brightest decision, game. But, you know, he's going to need to move, right? Why is he just there? Why has he gone all the way to over there to retire? What the hell? I'm sorry, but why has it done that? Like, there's bound to be spots where you can retire just normally. Oh my god, what was that about? I honestly can't particularly say that I understand, but, you know. Whatever happens, happens, I guess, but come on, game. You can do better. Well, CA, maybe not. But, still. It's been an issue since at least 23, if not 22, or beyond as well, so it's definitely a problem that needs fixing. I'm surprised it hasn't been fixed till now, but anyway, here's Bish on board with the Ferrari, getting past the Haas. Probably not team orders, but Haas powers is powered even by Ferrari. I've got to say Haas powers Ferrari, but that's the other way around. Haas powers America, and he's powered by a Ferrari. My apologies. As fastest first sector for Bish. That time around, double DRS doing wonders in terms of that. As we're seeing another battle at the back of the field. Sambo is getting caught up by Marnie in 14th place. I've also just realised if everybody finishes, everybody gets points, because top 15 does get points. There's also a point for fastest lap, but that is going to be dealt with. That can be given to absolutely everyone. Piastri off the track. That is Jordan. Through the first chicane at 1, 2, and 3. Bish, 18.3, new fastest lap of the race so far here on lap 26 of 71, around about 45 to go. Pardon me. Ooh. Oh, thought he was going to lose the back end heading into them. That would have been a spectacular crash, but not quite to be. Minden trying to catch right back up to Bish. Bracknell Bastard in 7th place. At this point in time, ahead of him, Bish in 6th. Then Liam Hardman in 5th. Stelio in 4th. Norris in 3rd. Maxi in 2nd. And Death in 1st. Welcome to International Paddock. My name is Casper. Happy to have you all along with us here on this first race ever for this brand new league. Happy to be able to take part in a little bit of history. But let's look a little bit higher. Liam Hardman right on the back of Stelio. Maxi's also closed up very nicely and very tightly to the back of Death, but they're going into the twisty middle section now, so probably not going to see a move for a little while. Stelio using battery to try and defend. Down the inside looks Liam though. Is he going to go for it? Yes, he does. Down the inside he dives. Outside line through turn 1 works nicely in terms of defence, but then the outside through 2 works even better. Is that Stelio racing with that front left wing end plate? That is Stelio racing with that front left wing end plate. Fair dues. I can't knock him for that. That's damn good. Oh my word. Right, possible change for the lead. Here we go. Death on Maxi. Or Maxi on Death. Let's see who wins, the pad or inevitability. On board with the Aston Martin. Currently in second place. He just breezes past. Changing the lead. Finally, someone else other than Death leads here in Mexico City for the first race for UCR. And I imagine he's probably very, very happy with doing exactly that. Piastri in the pits. That is Jordan. He's just gone in. Bish is past Stelio now as well. That's going into the Peraltada. Ooh, and he's probably going to have DRS now as well. But we'll see what happens. Yes, he does, because the DRS detection zone is, again, just under that exit. We'll stay on board with Chronic Mason. We'll show you. It's just right where you can see yourself come out of that stadium section. Is where the DRS detection zone for the front straight and this straight here is, because it's a double DRS zone, so you can use both. If you get DRS in the first one, you get DRS in the second one as well. They're doing it quite nicely like that. Wow. Bish now right on the back of Liam Hardman as well. As they head into the stadium, that is Small Girl getting out of their way, playing the team game a little bit. Trying to help where she can. There's also Stelio right at the back of Mitch as well. That's 4th, 5th, and then 6th, 7th. We'll stay on board with this. Bish has the drive. He's going to get past Liam Hardman without too much of a hassle. And I don't think Liam Hardman can defend it. Now the big question is, can Stelio do the same thing? Looks to have had a poor exit out of the first corner. Out of the final corner even. So he's gonna get back up to within about 7/10. But not really much beyond that. You do have to remember that he is, again, running without one of the end plates on his car. So he is at a slight loss of downforce. He is going to be losing time. And there is, that's a, woo, that was close. A little too close for my own personal liking, but that was very close regardless. 30 laps. 1 lap under VSC. Everything else under green flag running. Maxi Death, F1 Norris, Bish, Liam Hardman, your top 5. Bakey 3 seconds time penalty for multiple warnings. As through the stadium section we go. He's not going to have DRS. The car behind him will. That looks to be Jordan F1 Piastri getting right back past. Might have to give the position back up. Once sort of all of that is dealt with, because again, blue flags could very easily come into play. F1 Russell, another 3-second time penalty for track limits. Yellow sector 3. They've just been cleared now, so possibly a car just a little bit off track there. As we're on board with Stelio. Def has decided to come into the pit lane. Onto a hards even. Could run to the end. It's not unfeasible to run 40 laps on a set of hards. Round here, tyre wear it's not quite minimal, but it's very, very small in terms of losing your percentages. So you can very easily run tyres for 30, 40, 50 laps. I think softs you can run for about 20, maybe even 25. So you do have that possibility, that opportunity to use tyres for quite a long time. Lap 31 of 71 here in UCR. We're almost at halfway. So let's take stock again. Maxi ahead of Death, who's just pitted. Let's see what Maxi does. Not pitting this time around, but he's on a set of hards, so probably will have the advantage coming into the second half of the race, because he is going to pit off those. Oh my goodness, is that Mike Wallace's first proper warning? Penalty even. That is Mike Wallace's first proper penalty. As you can see, there's a lot of penalties that have been dished out. Sorry, my mic was a little further away than I thought it was. There's a lot of penalties that have been dished out. So, you know, there is the possibility. The party's been dismantled. Okay, cool. I was wondering why the thingy on the left disappeared. That's probably why. Liam Hardman, another 3-second time penalty, so he's on 16 seconds worth. But post penalties could be a very different field, especially if we get the dreaded late safety car. Because of course safety cars are unincreased, so it wouldn't surprise me if a little mistake at the very, very end of the race could lead to the safety car coming out. But still 39 laps or so left to run. So let's not get ahead of ourselves, because again, anything could happen. Let's be honest, usually does as well. So there's plenty of opportunity. There we go. Oh my word. Whew. There we go. Lovely stuff. Okay, 34 of 71 we've just started. Let's go on board with Mitch for a lap. Turn off the penalties as well. Biggest movers as well, as you can see on your screen. Maxi up 14. Very well done. Did not set lap 10 in Q2 due to not having to step back for a little bit in Q2. But is back, thankfully, for the race. Death up 1. Bishop 2. Chronic Mace, again, up 6. Was in 4th place at one point. So dropped back a little bit since. And Mike Wallace also up 3, but he did start in 16th. So take from that what you will. Monza. Down movers, not including Malik Ray. Liam Harden down 3, started on pole position. F1 Norris again on the front row in second place. He's now in 6th. So, goes to show, sort of, you know, that front row was not quite an ideal position to be in. That's a whole lap there of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez that we were on board there with Mitch in 5th place, trying to chase after Liam Hardman, who we're just talking about now. There's a lot happening, sort of big old battle here for 4th, 5th and 6th. Starting to brew a little bit. They're getting quite close and personal. This could get interesting into sort of turn 1, turn 2. But let's see what happens there. On board with Jamie Norris. He's going to be getting closer and closer and closer. He's right at the back of Mitch. Mitch is nowhere near the back of Liam Hardman, so no move is going to be made other than getting past the other half of Baker Gaming as they try and evade him, as he is lapped by these guys. He's in 10th place at the moment and Jamie's in 6th, so there's some pretty big gaps in that mid-pack. Here comes Mitch trying down the inside into turn 4. Jamie also considers it, but neither able to pull it off. Maxi, 3 seconds time penalty for multiple warnings. First one for the leader as we cross halfway now. 36 of 71, 36 to go now. So not very, well, we've passed halfway at 46 minutes. So pretty much exactly bang on to finish at half past. Which is pretty good going, I think. He's had a great exit. He's going to be almost side by side here through the exit of the Peraltada. He drops back in to get the slipstream, and the backstream. Mike Wars picks up another penalty. And here we go. Here comes Jamie on Mitch. Are they going to get close to Liam as well? Yes, they do. Past goes one, but not quite the other. In fact, there's a little bit of contact with Liam and Mitch. That's for 5th and 6th as they exit the chicane. Ooh, poor exit. Could be an opportunity for Mitch now. He's going to take the outside line around turn 4. Is he going to make that move stick? Not quite, but he does have the inside through turn 5, and that is very nicely done behind them. As you can just see, it is Jordan against Bakey. Pardon me, Jordan against Bakey. 10th and 11th place overall. These guys are a lap down, though, if you're wondering, where's Stelio and Rosberg? Yeah, they're a lap down on these top guys. Breaking into the Foro Sol, of course, baseball stadium normally, but for the Mexican Grand Prix weekend, yeah, why not? Let's make it a racetrack, because that's the only, thankfully for now, well thankfully, it's the only racetrack in F1 that goes within a stadium. But we'll stay on board with Jordan as he's going to make a move on Baker. That's for 10th place. Oh, trying to be careful as Baker gets 3 seconds for probably going off track. But also trying to be careful because there's cars ahead that are battling. And that isn't quite ideal for these guys so that they can battle properly. Ooh, Liam spin! Oh, contact! That is a bit of debris in the middle of the circuit. Is that cleared now then? Who's now going to be coming up to the corner? We'll go on board with Chronic Mace. Is that just going to be stuck in the middle of the corner? Yep. There's bits of carbon all over the place through that chicane. Lovely stuff. That's definitely not going to cause any damage, he says. turning the light on as it's 10 to 10 in the UK, 10 to 11 in other parts of Europe, 10 to 5 on the east coast of America, because yes, I know time zones. And I thought, yeah, why not? Let's flex. Small girl, 3 seconds time penalty for multiple warnings, and Liam Hardman retires from the session. Yikes. Not very happy with that. Pops on another set of hards. Oof. Someone's not a happy chappy. I imagine we're probably going to find out about this quite soon. Jordan's coming to the pit lane as well for a set of new tyres and probably a new front wing as well. Looks to be the medium tyre, I think, so taking those to the end now as well. Yellow's first sector. Oh, that is for Liam. What a surprise. Almost crashed into the back of him, did George. So twice in 2 laps would have been interesting. But thankfully, that's not quite the case. Yeah, you can get him past Liam as well. Liam's car's already gone. It took about 30 seconds for Du Bois' car to go. Anyway. Breathe. Breathe, Casper, damn it. 39 of 71. I think it's about 32, 33 laps to go. So we are getting closer and closer to those final stages. We could possibly have even had final pit stops already. It is feasible-ish to run a set of hards for sort of 45, 50 laps. The tyre wear around here isn't great in comparison to, say, Silverstone, where there's a lot of corners that would impact your tyres, right? So you're thinking Copse, you're thinking Luffield, you're thinking Brooklands, Stowe probably as well, Club, also Maggots, Beckett's. There's a lot of corners around there that would do damage, or increase damage, I think is the best way to put it, to the tyres. Whereas here you've probably just got the Peraltada, 1 or 2 of the S's, and then in that stadium section as well, the exit bit, probably. But, you know. Piastri puts in a fastest lap as well, 17.519, so good stuff for Jordan there, as Jordan does get past Small Girl as well, down the front straight, into turn 1. Well done to the McLaren. A lot of moves being made by Jordan, so good stuff. Love to see. What's Marnie doing? Why is she on the grass? Why is she on the grass? I'm not fully sure I understand why she's on the grass, but anyway. Gaps have grown out a little bit. Mitch is coming to the pit lane. While he's in the pit lane, we'll see what he's gonna pop on. He's off of the hards, I believe. Can't really see, but he's onto the mediums. Just about can distinguish the colours. But then again, I have glasses, so it is a little bit difficult to see. As he comes out now, how far is Stelio? He's not actually that far away. He's probably about 5 seconds-ish, maybe. No, double that. All right, fair enough. I thought I'd tried. But anyway. Anything happening? I'm just a curious man. Not quite. Nothing's happening at this point in time. Well, if you've got any questions, queries, concerns, or anything like that, do pop them in chat. I am watching chat religiously. I'm not saying it's my religion, but there we go. The move also down the front straight. Jamie on the podium for his first race, for the first race in UCR. Third and fourth place swap positions. Bish, again, really showing his pace. He's moved up to Div 1 in Simtech. He's done really, really well since. F1 Russell getting 10 seconds for ignoring a blue flag. That's big. I think they've upped that penalty as well. Used to be 5 from what I remember, is now 10. As Sambo gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. That is Bish. Almost going into Bolivia there. Not quite, but very, very close to it. Breaking into the stadium section. Yells in the second sector. Roll clear. All is relatively well. Yeah, Jamie's already pulled out 4 seconds almost on Bish. So Jamie's got a lot of pace in that McLaren. The McLarens both have got decent amounts of pace. It's just one's stuck in the back, and the other's fighting for the front. Tells you all, really. Qualifying is important, and what happens after the first lap is important as well. Here's Mitch on Stelio. Gets to the inside, gets right past on the Greek into turn 1. And Chronic Mason, sorry. I don't know, Stelly was overtaken. On Chronic Mace into turn 1. And is going to just pull away nicely and gently into turn 4. And the gap is 1.2 seconds. And he's been ahead at this point in the race. 44 of 71. 28 laps, I think. Somewhere around about that number is what we're sitting on in the lap count. Bish has left the session. Let me drag him right back. Again, screen's a little bit dark, but we'll be going to full brightness. There we go, in just a moment. We're watching Mitch. Well, let's look at our leader, our glorious race leader. Maxi has led since around about lap 25, and has not looked back since, really. Death closing up due to putting on those new hard tyres. The question is, when is Maxi going to pit? He's been on those hards since the start. So one would think, possibly around about now, in a couple of laps, pop into the pit lane, strap on a set of mediums, or, if you're feeling confident, maybe even a set of softs, and pelt it. Because if you put the mediums on, you don't really need to conserve. You can run 30, 35 laps on the mediums. I mean, we're already seeing from Chronic you can run 20. So it is possible. So in about 5 laps or so, pop those on, 20 laps on the mediums, Bob's your uncle. You can very easily do that. If you're feeling confident, and you know the softs can last that long, and you've done that in your own testing, then feel free. But there is obviously that option that you have to use 2 different tyre compounds of the 3 provided by Pirelli in a full dry race. The Greek Stelios It gets 3 seconds for track. And you can see again, biggest movers on the left side of the screen. Mike Wallace up 6 now. He's in 10th place. Sam exactly where he started in 12th. That's your check up on the international paddock crew, as well as actually Jamie Norris does occasional commentary for us as well in 3rd place, down 1. He was on the front row in 2nd place. Chronic Mace up 7 actually as well. So very good going by that Ferrari. Also very good going by Bish, who's been sort of in and out, I think twice, due to probably network connectivity issues, as you do. But he is making it back into the 4th place that he is in. With a penalty, though. We'll actually have a look at penalty now as well. So if I just do bosh, bosh, bosh. You can see the penalty on the left side of your screen. F1 Jordan's got 28 seconds worth of penalties, but that's still not going to be quite worth a position. Just because the gap to himself and Sam is 39 seconds. Plus Sam's got penalties as well. Marnie's got penalties. In fact, let's jump down to Marnie and Sam. Both going to have to give way to the Mercedes. Looks to be, I think that's, well, there's only one Mercedes left. That's F1 Rosberg. So Sam probably does need to let the car behind through. Not sure what Marnie's trying to do. If I'm honest, because that's not really your race, but that's just me. 3 cars without penalties at the moment. Death, F1 Norris Jamie, and Mindenbean he / Mitch, man from Bracknell, sadly. Never been, I don't want to go before anybody asks. I know I live in London and it's really near, but no. Wouldn't be cool. Dead there. On board with Small Girl. Here she comes, trying to get past Sam. Fireman Sam has not been able to come out of this fire, and she's still ablaze as he heads down into turn 1, defending through turn 2, using that inside line, forcing Small Girl to take an unfortunate line that involved, first of all, letting that Ferrari through, and second of all, taking the outside through 2 as well. So that is position retained by Sam. Chronic Mace is in the pits now as well. 7th place for that Ferrari, at least at this point in time. We'll probably come out of the pits in 7th place. F1 Piastri. Jordan. 10 seconds for ignoring a blue flag. We're getting a lot of blue flag penalties at this point in the race. Through the final corner on this circuit, starting lap 40. I think for them it's like 47, but we're on 48 at this point in time for the leader out of 71. Into turn 1, here she comes, down the inside once again. Can't quite make it work, but she can, because Sam goes off track and has to give the position away to Marnie. So nicely done by the Sauber driver, forcing the Alpine off track. So she's up to 12th place in this race so far. But I imagine penalties might knock her down a peg or 2. Depends. I think she's quite good on penalties with respect to the people around her, though. So might even push her up a position on Mike Wallace. Or it might not, because you just picked up another one. Sure. Shouldn't have bloody said anything. But, you know. As you do. We're into the final third of this race here. in Mexico City. Around about 22 laps left to run here at UCR. Been a relatively quiet first race. Not as many safety cars as probably people expected there to be. But then again, it is a very open track. So there's plenty of runoff, plenty of space. And of course, if you would like to join this league, that again has just started up, which for a first race 17 is very good going in terms of numbers. Be sure to join the International Paddock Discord, where you can join the lot. We've got ERC, you've got SRC, you've got URC, UCR even. You have absolutely everything. It's called Stranded. Well, not stranded, cutting through the grass. So Williams of Stelio taking Williams Lawnmowing to a whole new level. Michael's trying to catch up very closely to the back end of that very car. There we go. What? Sure. There we go. Okay. Right, that menu works. I was worried for a second that it wasn't. Goodness me. Down the front straight we go. We're looking on with Death, who's trying to catch up to the back of Maxi. Going down towards turns 1, 2 and 3. Into turn 4 now. Here we go. He's catching up pretty nicely, to be fair, because a couple of laps ago it was about 5 seconds. He's now halved that gap to about 2.5. So he's catching well, but again, has Maxi pitted? No. We're still waiting for a pit stop from Maxi. I think at this point, Maxi's going to go till in a couple of laps' time, pop the softs on, and hope to God that he can catch Death for the win, which could work, because then those softs will be 40 laps old. The hards even will be 40 laps old, and those softs are going to be brand spanking new. So it would be ideal. And then into the first chicane once again. 20 to go here in UCR. We're live at Mexico City for what's actually turned out to be a relatively quiet race. We've got a race here catching to first place, but with a 30-lap tyre difference. It seems more like a not if but when. But then Maxi's going to put on a brand new set of soft tyres, most likely. But it could be mediums. We'll see what they do as Bish comes into the pit lane, most likely for the last time in this race. Hopefully for the last time in this race for him. He's only going to lose a position to Mitch for 11th place. And then into this stadium section. Nicely handled so far. A little too far away for DRS at this point in time. But next lap, I imagine, is going to be the key. Getting close, you can hear the engine topping out. That is a very, very long section on full throttle. This is not particularly going to be a surprise when he doesn't stay on board, at least for a little bit. as he comes through this top-end middle section. My name's Castor, happy to have you all along with us. We were meant to have Gary, but due to unforeseen circumstances, he was not able to come down. So you just got me on comms tonight. I'm assured he will be here for next week, though. So we shall have to see. Into the hairpin, and now he is going to have DRS and likely a better drive out of the final corner. And right, into the pits he goes. Okay, this is interesting. Well, it's going to be interesting. What tyres is Maxi going to put on? Because this is Maxi's one and only stop. Onto a set of soft tyres. Softs to the end, it seems to be. What's the gap? We don't fully know because he's still behind Jamie as well. Jamie's gone in for second place. The gap is about 22 seconds in 16 or so laps. Quite interesting. Does Maxi have the pace on those softs to still be able to chase after Death before it envelops the whole field in its black cloak? Yes, I'm making a Grim Reaper joke here. He's getting closer to Jamie, to be fair. He's about 21.5 seconds away from Death now. Risky gamble this. Could pay off. Could also not pay off. So we'll have to see towards the closing end of this race. Stelio in the slipstream of Bish. Isn't going to have DRS though, because as well, Bish has DRS because of him. He's just been overtaken by the Ferrari ahead of him. And here we go. This is the move that we knew was going to happen this lap. Maxi ahead of Jamie Norris. Now, what Maxi also has to do is evade the penalty, because Maxi does have that 3-second penalty on top of his own head. So he needs to try and catch up, first of all, to Death in 16 laps. And then second of all, evade 3 seconds worth of penalty, which, considering I imagine he's just going to be pushing flat out at this point. First of all, fastest laps are going to be coming in from him over the next few. Chronic Mace 3 seconds again for track limits. There's a Ferrari ahead that looks to be, I think, yeah, that's Chronic Mace there. As Maxi goes a little bit deep into, heading into the stadium section. We're using the curbs a little bit. That might have been a track limits hit. Ooh. I'm not sure this worked. I'm honestly not sure if that has worked for him. It's 15.9, so it's an improvement to be sure. But we'll check back in a couple of laps' time. And we'll see how he's handling. Meanwhile, Bish and Stelio, 5th and 6th. Nicely handled through turn 6. Little too far away is Stelio for a move, but he is trying to close back up on Bish ahead of him. Bish on new tyres, mind you, so he is going to have that advantage, but 3 seconds with the penalty once again. Not quite working in his favour. Let's just open up the penalty screen now as well. Keep it open. Oh, my word. Jordan, are you okay, brother? You've got 44 seconds worth of penalty. That's a lot. Like, that is excessively a lot. But anyway. Oh my word! There's some big penalty numbers coming in, but there's also some big fights coming through. Rosberg defending from Piastri. That's P9 and 10. And then they're going to be going at it once again. I imagine in the next lap. 15 to go. Yeah, 15. That's the one. 15 for death at least to go. There's probably a few more for some of the other drivers. They may have been lapped quite a number of times at this late stage in the race. Because, of course, don't forget, there has been, since lap 1, there has been nada, zero, no safety cars at all in this race. Which some may count as a blessing. But, yeah, I'm on my own. I want something to happen. With all due respect, of course. But anyway. Maybe the gamble's working. I'm just looking at the times with Death and Maxi. It is really, really close. It might actually not have been half bad of an idea. Because the gap's now down to 15 seconds and he's got 14 laps. Maybe closer than I thought. As we're just getting ready to close down the race here. Coming through the S's is F1 Rosberg for the probably 56th, maybe, time? 57th time. He's not on the lead lap, I know that for sure. So maybe 56th, 57th time in this race so far. Actually, I can tell you exactly. Leader. Oh, no, it doesn't say lap. Right. Helpful. God, isn't it good when the game works as intended? Turning into the chicane at 4 and 5, looking on with F1 Rosberg, who is the only person to have only... well, not actually, no. He's one of only 2 people to have only 3 seconds worth of penalty. Because Smolko's just gone up to 15. Stelio and Papa Wallace are on 6. Bish and Bakey are both on 9. Sam is on 12. He's not picked up any since sort of mid-race, which is actually good going. For the Scotsman. 15 seconds for Small Girl. 21 seconds for Chronic Mace. 25 seconds for F1 Russell. And 44 seconds for Jordan. Not ideal. He's... oh, hello! He has... No. Russell has retired. Oh, my word. Oh my Gideon. Ladies and gents, a late race safety car. Mike Wallace drive through penalty for speeding under said safety car. Only one to have picked up such penalty. And he's got 10 seconds for speeding in the pits as well. Oh my word. Right, we'll pop the tyre screen on. We'll see who... what's the word? Who pits in, who doesn't? We've got 2 drivers that already pitted in for fresh soft. 3 if you count Mitch, which you probably should. He is still a driver. looking on with Death. He has been handed an absolute lifeline. There's a car crossing the barriers. That's Bakey. Death stays out. Ooh. Has he not got a set of softs that he can use? Youch. Now that's not quite ideal now, is it? Bakey in the pits. I've seen him come in. F1 Russell has left the session. There's a little bit of a change of position in the pits as well, as Rosberg does get ahead of Bakey. That's for 8th and 9th. 13 cars in this race still left so far. Do these guys now, I wonder, have a rule where unlapping is happening? Because Sam is 2 laps down. Probably even 3 at this point now. So he is going to be, if anything, in the way. Well, no reason for me to rejoin. Yeah, not particularly. Again, like I said, I kind of forgot about you going back home. But you have caused a late race safety car, so well, this is going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons truly now, isn't it? Is Sam going to come into the pit lane? No, he is not. The Ferrari going in. There's another car going in. That is Bish, and that is F1 Rosberg. So they're going to come out the very, very back end of the field. 3 cars haven't yet pitted. Death being one of them, and I do not imagine that he will. And then Small Girl and Sambo, which they've got loads of penalties. Again, this is going to hurt those that picked up many seconds of penalties. So people like Piastri with 44, Sam with 25, sort of those large numbers of penalty people are going to be in the disadvantage zone. Could very easily lose quite a lot coming through here. Cars are unlapping. So we're getting... I wasn't sure if these guys had this rule fully or not. Is Jamie sort of just letting cars pass that were lapped? You need to wait for him to get off track. Good. Good man. Safety car's not quite coming in this time round either. So we're going to still have a little bit of time. As the field is now coming up. The top 2 are right next to each other. Jamie, again, is not very far behind either. There's a lot of sort of procedural, not procedural, but like sort of trying to unlap as many cars as we can. So that we can get cars sort of on the lead lap and then go properly kind of thing. You've got Mitch, who is 28 seconds off the back of the top 3, who are all behind the safety car now. On lap 63, so we're probably going to get about like 7 laps of green flag, which could be quite interesting because 7's only 10%, so going to get pretty toasty, if I'm honest, but we'll see what happens. Where is everybody else? Well, they're all trying to unlap themselves, obviously. But Death is in a bit of a shitty situation here. Because he obviously has not pitted, as you can see on the left side of your screen. He has not pitted for new tyres, which most others have. He's the only one out of that lead pack that didn't. That's Mike Wallace being let through. Mike, you can go through. Well, not. That's not quite what I meant by through. And you know that. Guys letting some of them through. Now, right, okay. We are sort of getting there. There's a lot of cars that are still, obviously, needs to be unlapped. But we are getting ever closer. Bish left the session. Let me re-drag Bish in. Again, we'll get brighter in a sec. Abash. There we go. This is a little bit of a longer procedure than what we're used to seeing. But at least we've got the top four sort of side by side. Worst case, if we come to green this time around, which, where is Stelio? Stelio's just starting lap 64. These guys are all the way at the top end of the circuit, so there's still quite a bit of ground to cover, and behind them is Bish. Those two are right next to each other. Chronic Mace is also very close behind, and then Bakey is a little way away from there. So if we can get Stelio right on the back, we could have a top 7 out of 13 restart on the lead lap, which would be good. Well, emphasis on would be. Safety car is in this lap. The win is coming out of this top 4. Who? Well, we'll see in about 10 minutes. Time don't go anywhere. You do not want to miss this final couple of lap shootout. Starting lap 65 of 71. 7 to go. This is going to be very interesting. How does Death play this? Is he going to go early? He's going a little bit later, and I think he's already gone, but Max is going to have the drive out of that final corner, out the pedal tard, and we go green, green, green for the first time. Believe it or not, possibly. It still says safety car, but green flags are running, so don't let that deceive you. No DRS down this first lap as they go into turn 1. Can Maxi go for it? No, not quite. Not quite able to do so, and is still trying to wrestle through turn 2 and 3 as Maxi's got another penalty. 3 more seconds worth of penalty trying to get past Death. Not 11 Death, 6. I think that's all the Roman numerals are there. Ooh, unlucky for Maxi. Well, I think he's pretty much guaranteed 4th place, so it's not too bad of a position to be in, I suppose. Better than most, one would say. Through this back end of the circuit into the Foro Sol for the 65th time in this race. Jamie Nossat breaking himself a little bit. Possibility for Mitch to make a move. No, not really. Still a little bit too far away. DRS opens this time around, but not down the front straights. He's only going to be down the back straight this coming lap. Lap 66 DRS is now enabled, as you can see. And here comes Maxi making the most of the draft, and he is going to take the lead. But now the question is, can he get 6 seconds ahead of the chasing pack? It's going to be very interesting to see if that is possible, or is Death going to hold on? Or is Jamie Norris or Mitch going to stick their noses in there at the very end? We'll see. I sound like a Minecraft villager, I know, but we shall truly see. As they head into 4 and 5 for the 66th time in this race. There's already a bit of a gap forming between Death and Maxi. It's about 3/4 of a second now. It's pushing a second. And then coming through the S. This is where he's going to lose the most amount of time, because obviously the softs are going to work much better through that section of circuit. Loses the back end almost, coming through there. And then across the start-finish line, 5 to go. But now, Jamie and Mitch, they're both going to have DRS. And with those old tyres, you'd think he's done and dusted. Here's Mitch getting the double draft as well, down into turn 1. He's got Norris behind him. Can he? No, not quite. Stays in third, does Jamie, but Mitch and Death have swapped places. Brilliantly done by Mitch. The gap between Maxi and second place is a second and a half. But now he's got a soft runner behind him trying to chase. So he needs to pull out all of the stops, and Mitch is difficult to evade. So who really knows? Does seem to me that Mitch is going to take the win on penalties once it all comes to blow. And Maxi isn't necessarily going to be on the podium. Chronic Mace in the pits, probably going for fastest lap. Just remember, fastest lap is open to anyone, not just for the points-paying people. But regardless, everybody who finishes gets points because it's MotoGP point system. So it's top 15 that do get the points. Jamie on the back of Mitch. Now he's going to be closing up a little bit. Mitch is leaving. Not ideal, trying to break the draft, but still to the inside goes Jamie. And he's going to make that move. Piastri's picking up another 3 seconds worth of time penalty, as the bottom two have traded places. Sam gets passed by Mike in a what I'm sure is a very humbling experience for the Scotsman. For 12th and 13th, still proving that new softs are best, even if your drivers are... I'm joking, love you to bits. 3.5 to go. The gap is at 3 with Jamie and Mitch. They've sort of pulled away from the back end of... from the front end even of Death. The gap is 1.1 seconds. He's sort of trying to keep himself in there. But the big question is, Maxi at 3 seconds. Can you keep that gap, or is he just going to have to suck it up because of the 2 penalties that he picked up? One just as the safety car restarted, but the other about midway through the race. Mitch tries to make the move, can't quite get alongside. 3 to go here in Mexico City for UCR's first race. And it's all coming down to the wire after a relatively quiet race in the first 60 laps. A very late safety car caused by Kieran, intending to leave and not retire. He is under... he calls the safety car. Now we're on lap 69, very nice, of 71. Yes, I'm a child. Lifting a little bit through the bit in between the S's before he heads into that final section. The right and then the double left. Into the Foro Sol. He's only expanded by about half a second now as well. So not quite ideal as a Ferrari that was there in the middle. And Maxi, to be fair, Maxi might even pick up DRS here. Yes, he does. So he's going to have a little bit of an extra advantage as Mitch tries to catch to the back of F1 Norris. Craig Mace, 10-second penalty for a severe collision with Death. He hasn't died, don't worry, but that is, well, that's put Death basically out of the running. Even with the penalty that he's picked up recently as well. A lap and a half left to go. Into turn 6. Car's off track. That is most likely Small Girl. In fact, it is Small Girl. I said most likely because I thought the other Sauber was still in the race. But Small Girl just getting out of the way for lapped traffic. She's half a minute down on F1 Piastri, who's got a lot of penalties, but she's got a good few herself, so I don't think that position is necessarily going to change hands. Lock up for Mitch, though, so he's going to lose possibly a little bit of time. In fact, no, he's actually gained. Right, okay. Final lap here in UCR. Final lap for the first race in this brand spanking new championship. We're on board with Mitch, who is closing. Jamie's defending a little bit, but not quite able to defend enough. Mitch takes the net lead because there's 6 seconds worth of penalties for Maxi, who is in first place on the road, but Maxi's got to hope that these guys have a kerfuffle so that they can take the win here for the first race. Jamie tries down the inside into turn 4. Can't quite make it stick through turn 6 for the final time. And then into the S's, it does look to be Mitch's to lose, but we still could very easily see a move into this final section here. Could we see a dive bomb from Jamie? No, he thinks about it. He looks at it, but thinks better of it. Penalties befell this man. He's going to cross the line to take the win on the road, but the Simtech and UCR partnership working well. Mitch takes the win. Jamie second in the first ever race at UCR at Mexico City. Maxi in third. Death, what could have been in fourth, really. Probably should have pitted for soft tyres. Then he would have been able to at least be in the running, but then an incident through no fault of his own, as far as I'm aware. Unfortunate, but we're here now. So that's the important thing. Stelio 5th, Vish 6th, Bakey 7th. Penalties are going to shake out a little bit as well, so there might be a few position changes compared to what is on the road. Bakey 7th, Rosberg 8th, Chronic Mace 9th, Piastri 10th at this point in time, Small Girl 11th, Papa Wallace 12th, and we're just going to watch Sambo, last car to cross the line, in 13th place. Driver of the day's got to go to Mitch. Brilliant run. Although the game thinks it's Maxi. Very, very good run for Maxi, I think, but a couple of minor mistakes sort of gives it away, I think. But very close second for Maxi, especially after starting 15th, not taking part in Q2. Done very nicely, and that is it for UCR round 1. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed very much the most of it. And there's your classification at this point in time. You can see there's so many penalties there on the right-hand side. Mitch takes the win. Maxi's got the fastest lap in the Aston Martin. And, of course, Liam Hardman had pole position. Next week, we are in Suzuka. Hopefully, Gary will be with me for that one. But in the meantime, that is it from us. Be sure to tune in on Monday, where you've got supercharged 225% sprint races. That is going to be a good one. That's the next race here on International Paddock. But it's a goodbye from me. Stay safe. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.